All right, we are live right now. Good afternoon, everyone from Helsinki, Finland. It's a real pleasure to be back with a community building webcast with focus on Finnish community leaders, makers, organizers in this really hard time. And I acknowledge people who are joining me here today to inspire you, to give you some tools why sport is important, why doing wellness is not just interesting, it's just a necessity of the time, but also how to build networks in Finland and build deeper ties in Finland. So my name is Kamila Sultanova. I'm a public speaker, event host, and diversity inclusion expert. And I work with really making diversity inclusion visible, tangible through community building and bringing awareness during pandemic and recognizing people who don't really see, but they're there. So to this topic today, why and how we overcome pandemic with sports, is really tapping into power and recognize people who are doing it and giving yourself inspiration, practical tips, and understanding that we all here need each other. We all need to stay safe, and we have the tools to be mentally safe and build the networks in Helsinki region. So welcome to Sebastian Diaye from Vuosaari, which is my hood here in Vuosaari, Eastern Helsinki, award-winning youth worker, and working also with culture and recognizing, and professional speaker, a professional football player back in the years, originally from Senegal. Then I welcome also Aisat. Aisat, you are from also Nigeria originally, but you've been also a professional football player in your previous life, and now you're a football coach, sports coach, and you founded an NGO, She Football Initiative in Nigeria to inspire girls to play football. Welcome. Then I have Wambui Njuguna, and you're Kenyan American based in Helsinki. Working in Helsinki as a yoga and wellness specialist. And I've met all of you through different engagements, and that's why I wanted to also recognize you, how you helped me personally to stay sane last year. Thank you, and welcome, Wambui. So just before we continue, I want to say hello to audience, whoever is listening to us. Even though it's a Helsinki-based webcast community building, especially for this time, please think of how much sports means to you and how much is it in your life, because we all need the rituals and we need that kind of to stay connected as well. We know for the fact sports has the power to change the world. Nelson Mandela actually said that sports has the power to change the world. It has the power to inspire. It has the power to unite people in a way that little else does. So it's not about playing in a higher league or being a champion, but it's really doing it. So is there echo still when I speak?
Yes, a bit.
A bit of echo, okay. But if you want, I will now pass the word to our speakers, and I will mute myself, and hopefully it will disappear during the speaking course. So, Sabi, I will start by asking you a question. So, Sabi, tell us how you've been going through this 1 year of corona, almost close to 1 year pandemic, personally and professionally.
Can you rephrase it? How
has pandemic been for you, and how you overcome it personally and professionally?
Well, first of all, hello, ladies. I salute you all, and it's a pleasure to be here with you guys. And hello to all those viewers who are around the world watching us. Well, Corona have been, of course, very hard for everybody, mentally, physically. It have been very hard, but luckily, last year in the summer, we could enjoy the summer and enjoy the sports that we all are doing. But it have been, I can tell you, it have been a challenge now after the summer. through the winter when all the places are closed. And if we're talking professionally, we are working for Helsinki City, and they decide for us what we should do, when we should do it, and how we should do it. So it have been very limited what we could do, but now it's a bit better. We have now the chance to have the groups.
Yeah.
The houses are closed, but we can still have groups of youngsters that we could do something outside, and we can also as well do something indoors, but we cannot. Unfortunately, we cannot do anything that mingle with playing football or basketball or things like that. So therefore, it have been very challenging for us to do what we want to do, and to help these youngsters.
Right.
I think that I will tell that it have been challenging doing some sports and things like that, but there is also a positive vibes, which is very important in Finland, is the family life. Yes, the community. No, okay, the community we cannot organize anything bigger. But for me personally and professionally, I would say that for the first time in 32 years, people can concentrate being with their loved ones. I think that I would say that is the positive things that came out of this.
Right.
Of course, too much is too much.
I know. I've seen.
But yeah, I would say that being with the family, having time with your family, being with the kids, I think that is the positive thing that came out of it.
So Sabi, just so anyone who's listening, Sabi has worked with all kinds of young people around Helsinki. He's an amazing personality who lives by his heart, follows his heart. He has no agenda. Because I talked to him preparing to this webcast, okay? And he said that he worked with the bad guys and the good guys. And everyone calls him Papa, because the guy, like Sabi, he just wins the heart, wins the respect, and it's a real rewarding part of being a youth worker, I think. So Sabi, I take my hats off for you for all the things that you've done for the youngsters around Helsinki. So Aisat, Sabi works for the City of Helsinki's youth centers. Aisat is working for a NGO which uses sports as a social development tool. So bringing immigrant women into sports who would otherwise not do it. And it's called Diversity Through Sports and Diversity and Inclusion Through Sports. So tell us, Aisat, how you've been working during the last year, because I've seen your Instagram accounts, doing the Zumbas and Yumbas. Tell us.
Yeah. Hello, everyone, and thanks for having me here on this show. Personally, for me as a person, I try to keep a very positive mindset, because we all know what's going on over the globe now, and because I know the importance of physical and mental health.
Pick up, Aisat, sorry.
Okay. So I mean, personally, for me, I try to keep a positive mindset, in the sense that I know the importance and the benefit of doing sports, mentally and physically. Mental well-being is very important. So I try to keep my positive mindset, and I try to work out at least 5 times a week, doing some dancing, aerobics, and post to my social media like Instagram and Facebook, for other people to feel that even though we are all home now facing these challenges, you can still do sport while at home. Professionally, we in Mona Liko, every woman is welcome, regardless of your background, big size, age, whatever. So we have this online group whereby we created for every woman to join in, and every week we have we work out 5 times a week. We have workout with a dance class group. We have the normal workout exercise, and we have the yoga group.
Yep.
Also, so the best way that we use in connecting people and creating more awareness to do sport at home is to have this link on monaliku.com. So when you click on the link, the times and the days are there. So just click on the link, you can join us, and while I instruct from here at home, everyone from their respective home as well can join. So professionally, this is the only way we in Monaliku try to create more awareness and to let people know the importance and the usefulness of doing sports while at home during this pandemic.
Yeah. And you have kids, and how did you manage at home? Is that like?
To be honest, it hasn't been easy, at first, because we just have to adapt to the abnormal kind of. Having children at home, sometimes they really want to kind of distract me while I'm working out. But the good thing about them is that whenever I have to do something, I tell them in advance, and they know the importance why I have to do this with other people that want to do sport at home. So I try to combine taking care of my kid, and sometimes I ask their dad to look after them while I do the workout. So but basically, it has not been something that was really easy at first.
Okay.
At home, but I understand we all feel good and we feel happy doing sports online, and everybody is enjoying and benefiting the parts of doing this with them online.
Okay. So from Monaliku, basically, I'm also affiliated to that NGO because I know that sports, for the fact, changed my life and really brought me closer to my communities in Denmark and Finland. And Monaliku, before COVID, has engaged 250 women in some kinds of sports activities. And I think it's great to say that you adapt the sports content so that people on different levels can join. And Aisat is really the engaging woman behind it, really finding ways. I read about Aisat on Helsinki's webpage, how she says that women who with immigrant background to talk to her because they feel that they can relate to her better. And I think that's immense value that you provide as a role model, but also say, hey, come along, we can all be part, of any workout, basically, with music or without. Thank you, Aisat. And Bambui, I've been living through your online meditations last year. And we also did workshop with Global Dignity for young people, like an office yoga, if you will. It was really powerful. Tell us how has last year's been?
Hi, everyone. Thank you for inviting me here. Really nice to be with you all. So the pandemic, how it's been for me, I mean, honestly, personally, it's helped because, as Sabi said, it really has given time for myself and my family to be together at home. And we've really been enjoying having time for each other. Before that, there was a lot of travel going on and not much routine. And we also have 2 small kids. So I've really actually been enjoying not having to live out of a suitcase and just feel that nice kind of stable home vibe that Finland is actually quite suitable for, this sort of somewhat safe, somewhat predictable. Yeah, a little bit boring and monotonous sometimes, but just having that stable base for 2 small kids has been really good. And of course, just in terms of, I use all the tools of my yoga practice, my meditation, in order to keep my mind, my body, my spirit, my soul well fed and healthy and happy and positive. And so I really feel like actually these times somewhat prepared for, in a way, where it's like I was doing all these things before the pandemic and before the Black Lives Matter uprising happened, and I continue to do them to navigate the difficulty and the intensity of the times. So I'm very grateful to have them in my life and just to keep kind of calling on them every day to stay positive and hopeful. And professionally, much of my stuff has had to go online, so I was really... And this has been on my heart ever since I came to Finland 10 years ago. I started from the beginning. I just looked and I was like, who is here and who isn't here and why not? If we say yoga as a philosophy is about unity and any human being can take up the practice of yoga, you just need a body and breath in the body. I was looking around and seeing that it's a very, very narrow demographic of people who are in the yoga spaces here in Finland. And that always bothered me from the beginning. So the pandemic has offered that I can take things online and try to make these teachings, which have been so transformative and beneficial for my life, more accessible to people regardless of race, age, gender, economic level. And so I've really been trying to use social media as well as different platforms to reduce the exclusivity of it.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's really just more like some kind of like public relations and marketing to
That's right.
give people a chance that, hey, actually yoga could be something for me. I could be welcome here, and it's not just for like rich, skinny white women to do.
Okay. It's like you become a yoga activist, because I've been, reading your website, Wellness with Bamboo, you can really see that you want to make it accessible and you want to break down the barriers as Aisa does with her demographics in Monalico NGO. So I think we definitely need to question it as the topic of diversity inclusion is also very important since last summer with Black Lives Matter, but also with the whole inequality and inequity in regards to everything that we do in work, in education, in sports, and so we need to kind of bring it together. And I think as a sport, we know is a unifier. It really breaks down. Again, we come like in volunteering. You come and volunteer for the cause and you forget the differences. The same is in sports, right? And I believe that we need to actually start doing it instead of like cheering for it. So through action together and opening up to each other, to different, taking sports in different postcodes across Helsinki, it's a good start. So
I will just jump in here about what you said regarding differences. I don't think, and this is something I see in yoga often, is like we want to be so quick to jump to we are all one, we are the human race, which is true.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with our differences. And we can, difference doesn't mean division. And so having a society where we can respect and celebrate one another's differences without it dividing us and causing further polarization, this is where I see the power of sports and the power with something like yoga, where we don't have to forget our differences and leave parts of our identity out of the room. We can come as all of who we are, and it's all accepted and it's all okay. So I just wanted to speak to that. Difference doesn't necessarily mean division.
Absolutely. No, and this is where we dare to really accept and recognize our differences, but then we're still valuable as we are. And I guess this is where there's been a research on, the wrestling, how the wrestling mat is an equalizer for people regardless where they come from. And it's a Finnish research on, diversity through sports, saying that when you get on that mat, you are equal because the sports is unifying you, not your color of skin or race or gender. And that was really powerful to see, to read that research and say, wow, this is like profound, being in a locality or being in a sports, like in a space. So now going to diversity inclusion topics. So for me, and I work with internationals, I work with immigrant women, I work with Finnish companies, employers, to say hey, what are really bringing people together right now? And sports is kind of taken for granted a lot. And so how can we push more sports as a tool for, building networks, building belonging, and building your sense of localness? Because doing sports is quite local. You run in a forest, you do yoga in a specific city neighborhood, you go around and play football in a field, so you kind of get to know the surrounding. Could you share a story how sports helped you or maybe didn't help? So could we bring in that understanding? How does sports connect people, and with your examples? So, Sabi?
Well, many things. My being here today is, of course, God that bring me here. But if I am here with you today, it's because of sport.
Right.
So I think that tells a lot.
Right.
I live from Africa to here when I was 18 because of football. all the friends and how can I say, the challenges that I didn't have when I came here was because of sport. Sport make it easier for me to adapt, make it easier for me to get friends, made it easier for me to have a healthy life anyway. Yes, so I would say in my life, sport have lots of things to do with. But I wanted to come back to what you were just talking about with what sport and dividing and things like that. I wanted to just to tell that we need more people doing than talking. I mean, we have of course, talking is good. I'm not saying like it's not good, but most of the situation we are having, which is normal for us who are doing it from our heart, is not necessarily the same case for everybody. So we need more good people who are ready to do. I told you, when you talk about my sister Aisha from Nigeria, she's doing. You can see that she's everywhere, doing it for other people. At my work, one day I just turned and she was there with the ladies.
She's dedicated.
One boy just said she was traveling all around, just try to, it's our calling. When we have it, we don't have a problem with it. We don't have a problem dividing people. We don't have a problem, none of those problems that usually you will see. We are just doing what we have to do to make it better. You know what I mean? So we need more people behind us, supporting us, giving us good feedback and things like that, not fighting you. Because in the scene of dancing, yoga, everything you see, there were people who are trying to destroy you or trying to bring this negative vibe into it, or things like that. We need people. I told you last week what Isaac did. I told you last week, I will never forget it, because I organized this African Cup, putting my own time, 2 weeks to it, my money, my everything. Nobody except few players from Nigeria. They come always, everywhere they see me, they say, thank you, sir. Thank you for doing this. She came at the final of 2019. After that, what she did was I was even crying after it, because we was not close. I'm not close to her. But she bring me a jersey and gave it to me. She didn't even tell nothing. She saw that I was busy. She gave it to me for support. Yes. And she just left. You know what I mean? So we need more positive people like her, more positive people like us.
Cooperating.
Yes, cooperating in a positive vibes and helping each other. And go forward. I think that's what I think about this whole thing,
Sabi, you're arranging this African Cup for lots of different teams to play football in Finland, and you've done it for many years.
10 years, yeah.
10 years, yeah. So we have a football enthusiast and player from Kenya calling. His name is Omondi Peter, and he said, I'm following all the way from Kenya. And he noticed, Wambu, your words saying that differences means diversity, which means great ideas. And who can disagree with that?
Yes.
So, Peter, tell us from Kenya, how do you promote sports to really connect and build networks? Because it is if you play sports, it really brings in that connection as a community. And I feel when you do that, also in the professional sphere, which helped me here, is to really say, well, I run with these teams. I can call them outside sports because it kind of builds the trust fundamentally, right? How is it that, Aisat, can you share your experience? How is sports, playing football in the past and now, how does it help to build connections and deeper ties in Finland?
Yeah, for me personally, I think sport is very important to me as a person.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, if not because of sport, I wouldn't have been here today. I wouldn't have been in Finland. And like Sabi said, everywhere I've traveled to, everywhere I've been to is because of sport that I do.
Right.
And the most important thing is that, when you are doing things, try to carry other people along. Let them know the importance why you are doing this, because sport is a very powerful thing. It's a very strong thing. Sport brings people together. Sports bring love, peace, unity from different countries. Even despite the languages that you speak, different kind of languages, it doesn't really matter. Because when you do sport, everyone feels the same. You can see the joy and the happiness in everyone that is part of those doing the sport. So I have to say this because if I don't say this, then I'll be selfish. Because if not because of sport or football, because I play football for all my life, I wouldn't have met a lot of wonderful people all over the world. And like Sabi actually said, that we really need people to really kind of empower us. We also have to work with them, different kind of organizations, like sport organization in Finland, to have more network, more contacts, more interactions, to create more diversity, to also create more inclusive. Because when you're doing something, if you don't see someone to kind of encourage you or motivate you, empower you, you don't have the courage, you want to do more. So for me, I think the best way we could make this big or huge is to work with different organizations to have some kind of network or events or interactions to create more diversity.
Yes.
But generally, sport has been wonderful to my life. I can't imagine myself doing sports, to be honest. It's part of my
That's right. Well, it's also a biased attitude when you use it professionally, right? For me, I do it on the side. But I think I read about you, and you said that you found also a fulfillment in helping other women to do sports after you retired from your sports career, isn't it so? That yes, it connects bridges, but you need to also kind of find other ways to reach out and make that network work for you, because it's you give and get, right? And I think you really found it so strongly that you're Mona Liku's face among other professional coaches there. But yeah, it's a work in progress to build sports networks, to bring it outside. Wambu, what about you?
Yeah, similar. It's funny because yoga for me, it's of course it started as a very physical practice, but the physicality is just one aspect of it. But very similar themes that both Sabi and Aisa talked about. When I came to Finland, not knowing anyone except my husband, we had the yoga community, and from the beginning, I had that sense of there are people who are also committed and passionate about practicing this yoga as I am, and it helped me not to feel so alone. Yeah. And so while I am calling kind of the community to examine aspects of their identity that maybe is very new for them, it's my community, and I do it because I love the community and I love the yoga, and I just want it to be a place that is much more inclusive and welcoming, and quite frankly just safe for a much wider range of people to come. And it's the same, like you said, Camilla, about like you step onto that wrestling mat and you forget like these social constructs of race, of gender. It's just kind of, it's the same feeling when you're in the yoga room. You can forget those parts of yourself and just tune into something that is much more mysterious. That's much sort of, it's that sort of human consciousness, and even like the bigger energy. And you feel that bigger energy when you see, like, if somebody scores and everyone's like, it's that, you know, that unity, like everyone is there in that present moment, celebrating and enjoying being alive and together. And then you're grateful to like who this person is. I don't know you, but let's give a hug, because it's that passion that you forget all the things that, and I am going to say it now, that divide us, and you just remember that there's a bigger energy. Sports can do that. Yoga can absolutely do that, even though yoga isn't a fitness thing. It's a whole philosophy. It's a whole thing.
Right. Yes.
But it's that sense of bigger energy, consciousness, and passion, and it can heal very much so.
And this is definitely the healing part, is really what you get after you've done those sound salutations, and you have that endorphins either after any workout, and you just feel so powerfully present, and you so feel vulnerably nice, you know, that you just come undone. And I really hope whoever is listening, tell us what are you doing in, you know, what have you done? How much sport is in your life? Or tell us what do you like about doing any activity that you do, so that we also get to share your you know, share your feelings, share your attitude. Because for me, sports for Finland, while you live in Finland, is must do. Wellness is must do. There's so much nature around us, and there is a lot of tools around us. And I already shared in Facebook all the links you can go into and tap into cities offerings. You can rent skis right now. It's winter sport. You can rent skates. You can find out where's the closest skating ring. In that sense, Helsinki is offering a lot of different ways around Finland as well. And I also used local Vuosari outside training, because you could get space. You don't need to be afraid of COVID. Anna is, she and her husband actually offered outside training out in the blue, even if it's plus 20 or minus 20. So we do HIIT training, high intensive interval training, or we've done just jumping on the stairs, so like circuit training. So it was really for her and her husband doing this community sports for us outside was really something, also connecting all across different age groups. So this is really important. What can you suggest right now, whoever is listening? How do they get started with sports? Where would you suggest them? And if you have a doubt, like, how do you really take the first step? We're not talking about Olympic champion level, just to get going. Sabi.
Yeah, I think that as you just mentioned it, I think that Helsinki City, I am in a group. What Helsinki City did was we have a group named Helsinki Liikuu.
Helsinki Liikuu, okay.
Yes, so all those things that you are saying, I am part of that group that are planning and giving advice. How should we do it? And it's not only about youngsters or football or old people or whatever, but it's we see it as the capital's image. It's not only one. Some people, they want to do something, but they don't have those tools. For instance, you say that you can go and rent skis and skate somewhere, or whatever. Yeah. All those things, we have been planning it. And it's in the next level.
Okay.
How we build the road. Yeah. How we are having the paths. what do we have in the parks, how they should look like,
Right.
how those small road where you can drive bikes, how
So
you
making it
can
accessible.
yes, and
Right.
even the workers, how
Right.
we can get the workers in Helsinki get through having some free passes to different places and things like that. I think
Right.
that it will go from there
Okay.
to make it easier for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next step is, as I told you, we need professionals. We need people like us. I am not bragging by telling us, because us, we have it in our heart.
Right.
I think I was telling you last year that you cannot help people and communities if you are selfish. I
That's
think
right.
I told you that last year. We need more people
Yeah.
who are not selfish, who are unselfish, who are ready to do things,
Right.
not because of the money or the fame or whatever, but
Right.
they do it because they want to help people.
Right.
I think that we need a lot of, we need to do lot of work, because nowadays the life had gone in the direction of money, fame, and things like that. Unfortunately, it and I am not blaming anybody, because in this life,
Mm-hmm.
yes, you know, me helping people voluntarily is my life. It is in my heart. Some, if you don't have it, it's okay also. I am not blaming anybody,
Yeah.
but I just hope that there will be more people uh, remembering that we are in this life together,
Yeah.
and this life was meant for us to live together and
Yes.
help each other. Let not be selfish. Let
Mm.
help each other to survive, because
Right.
it's already hard enough.
Thank you, Sabi. So
Yeah.
with the sport, you're definitely giving, or your youth work, I think you're definitely giving that gene and that attitude of Ubuntu. You know, I'm you, you're me. Because I can see that how people reach out to you once you got your award for being the youth worker of the year. I mean, you were showered with love, you were showered with comments because people know you because of your deeds. And I think to whoever is listening, building a community while you're building your network, you need to also be genuinely interested and giving it back as well, right? So supporting the other
Mhm.
person who can benefit from sport, who can benefit from that yoga or that other dance class. So what I know for sure is that after this episode, I will share all the links that I know that help me. So all links that you have is going to be all available on the Facebook stream, and you will see, you can rewatch this episode on YouTube as well. Any other questions from those who are watching? And by the way, it's really great to see so many of you watching with us. Peter is saying, I do football for peace in Kenya to unite the youth, train them for life skills, and link them to work. This is great. I can tell you, a lot of people who are professional sports people today, they turn to management consultants because they know all about grit, perseverance, determination, discipline, and team building. You know, we want right now to build teams across the world, dispersed geographically. We need new thinking and resilience. And I think all of us in sports, we underestimate and we need to push more for our togetherness. Aisat, do you have a story to share from your work? What are the comments people come to you in regards to say, okay, I got hold of Aisat's fitness classes online or offline? Is there anything that just comes to your mind?
Actually, building a community and building a network is very important and it's very strong.
Yeah.
Like when I work in Monaliko, I have to appreciate them for, of course, giving me the opportunity to be able to express my potentials after being a professional athlete to sport instructors. I know in Mona Lisa we have different people with different backgrounds, like the
Right.
Somalis, Afghanistans, the Cameroons, the Ghanaians. So we have like diversity. We have very diversified in Mona Lisa. But after most of the classes, they come to me like personally and tell me how they feel. Like you could see the joy in them interacting, trying to meet new people. You could see the happiness in their faces. Like, okay, this is not just where I come to do sports, but also this is where I come to make friends. They see themselves as one. We are all like one family, Mona Lisa. And for them to tell me how they feel in their body, like the mental part, the physical part, and the happiness they felt in themselves, because most of these women, they are not people that have any sport background. In fact, some of them are not even allowed to do sport even before they move to Finland.
Not allowed.
Yeah, so this is something really huge for them, and it gives them joy to always want to come. And for me as a person, when they tell me how they feel, it's a kind of credit for me to have, because the feedback is very important for Mona Lisa and for me as an instructor to help me to also to improve in some areas that I have to improve. But most of them, whenever they come, the feedback they give to me really want me to give to do more to them.
That's right.
So you understand. So I see myself like, oh wow, I'm nobody for myself, but I see people like appreciating me more than I appreciate myself. So hearing the story from them and how they feel and what they want as well, give me also joy to also try to carry everyone along. And sometimes I have to discuss with my boss, which is Claudia, to tell her, okay, this is what this person said. This is what someone said to me. Like they come to confide in me.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is that we should all just make the world a better place for everyone to live in.
That's
just
right.
like what Sabi said earlier on, that when you are doing something and you have a passion for it, it's not all about doing something and be selfish. Your passion, your commitment, your involvement in seeing other people smiles, because I believe we rise by lifting others. So unity is very important for me as a person. So doing this in Mona Lisa and working with different people with different backgrounds, also with different cultures, also make me to learn and have an eyes open to other things that I don't even have idea of before I became an instructor.
Yeah.
I think it's a very huge thing, and it's really important that we have other people that really want to come on board. Let's work together. Let's do things together. Let's have a very strong network, and also let us do something that will change the world, and people will see the impact and the benefit of sport. Because sport is something that, when you look about every other sector, sport promotes equality. It promotes inclusive, and also promotes love all over the world.
That's amazing. So in fact, from what you're saying, Aisat, community or building community for diversity inclusion, for networking, it's actually reinforcing. It has a very reinforcing force that you get feedback, you give your best by training and coaching, and you build a better and stronger sense of self because you're interacting. And I think that it's really powerful for what you're saying is to really distill it to people and say, listen, when we are in isolation, we don't understand, we forget our sense of self. But when we're doing something together, we remember we're capable, we can reach our goals, even just to get up from the sofa and to laugh together, joke, or if you fall down, like hee hee. But in any case, it's like really important to recognize our own humanity through doing sports. So thank you for that, Aisha.
Yeah.
Mamboy, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think my main goal, obviously, and I have it on my Instagram, is that I really wish to encourage young people of African descent, people who feel marginalized or not really like they have a place in Finland, or they are 1 foot in one culture, 1 foot in the other culture, and really negotiating these things. This is sort of my target group that I would like to reach, because I just see that reading just the mental health statistics of young folks now and the way social media negatively affects this, it's definitely worrying. And even just this pandemic of loneliness, yoga absolutely helps realize this bigger energy, interpersonally, as well as the strength that you have within, and your own basic goodness as a human being, your own basic value that is not based upon how much money you have, not based upon how many followers you have, just based upon the fact that you were born and you have this breath in your body, and that alone is more than enough, and that alone is enough to be grateful for. And you need to thank your ancestors who came before you for that. And so that ties into the power of community, and not this individualism, like I have to be something for myself and me, as Sabi had mentioned, this illness of selfishness and greed, and just going after the wrong things in life that don't bring happiness and satisfaction. These I learned all through the power of yoga. And the only limitation, or not the only limitation, but I would just offer that if somebody is interested to learn yoga, I just say to have an open mind, because it's really like, even if it's based in a philosophy that is part of Hinduism, it's not about converting you into any religion, or it's not at odds if you're a Muslim or if you're a Christian or anything like that. So that has been my kind of, I would say, a bit of a block. Like there's many maybe like fears or misunderstanding about what it is. So I would just advise to come with an open mind, and that it really is for everybody. And I cannot thank it enough. I have so much gratitude. It taught me how to be a less selfish human being.
Right. And I think a lot of thank you.
Yeah, and it's very important to have this sense of belonging.
Sense of belonging, and it helped me remember who I am. It helped me remember who I am.
Yeah. And I think most of the youngsters, they have the same problem, I think. We have to do some cooperation with you.
Yes,
I have a perfect
together.
I have a perfect group for you.
Nice. Let's talk more.
I definitely hope you will talk together and cooperate. So anyone who's listening, if you're not in Helsinki, please think how your community is showing up for people with sports activities, with yoga, with wellness. Question your politician, question your community leaders. How are we showing up for each other? How are we asking on questions of mental health? And do we actually show up for our young people, for the represented group, for underrepresented groups? Because right now we have municipal elections coming up in Finland. So that's a call for action. What are we going to do to work together? How are the politicians, our community, like municipal elections, candidates are going to show up for these causes? Because it is about mobilizing will, mobilizing resources, and mobilizing groups of people to promote social capital exchange and promote the networks which we so need. So I thank you all. I want to throw some, little confetti, because you're my beautiful people here, and you really show up with your open heart in a time of pandemic where there is nothing to be happy about. It's been last week. It's been full of negative news on Finnish media. We know what's happening in Russia. We know what's happening in China, in the US, with a lot of divisions coming up. But I believe India, yes, Africa. I mean, there's Latin America. I mean, there's stuff going on everywhere. But what I do believe is, I believe in power of collective action, and that we cannot turn away from this unifying power of sports, of wellness, which is now brought up more. And we cheer for our sports people, but we also need to cheer for our community leaders. So this webcast is really dedicated to your work, and consider this 10 times feedback from everyone that you do, and all your activities I will share on social media, so that we can really help parents, young people, and people who are curious about doing more sports, and even becoming mentor. If you're really doing great sports, you can become a mentor for an immigrant woman who needs a little push. And I started running, I started kayaking in Helsinki, and those people who are now my friends, I just wish them happy ystävänpäivä yesterday. So let's continue with love, with grit, and with this being unapologetically unifying as what you do. So thank you for inspiring me. And I hope that who watched is also been inspired. And do share a little emoji. How do you feel after this episode? So, any other final comments?
The only comment I could, as you say, there was a participant from Kenya who helped those youngsters. I wanted to tell him, send him a lot of love and power and positive vibes, because it's not easy to do that kind of job. But just telling him that this only that they have the sense of belonging to a team,
right,
help them through their life. We are having the same problem here in Finland. There were kids who was born here. They have half of the other part of their parents are from somewhere else, and they don't belong. They feel like they don't belong here. They don't belong there. They don't belong anywhere. They are in the middle. Yes. So that's what what we do is helping them to belong somewhere, and having, after all that, they will have that one person who they trust, and who they know that person is behind them, helping them through their life. So lot of power to all of you. It has been a pleasure being with you guys, and I thank God that we are here and we are for real. And I believe that if nobody help, nobody see us, God is seeing everything. And let hope that God will pay us our good heart that we are giving to people, because it's the most important thing. One love, everybody.
Love. Thank you so much, Camilla.
Thank
you so much to be here.
And if you just stay online, just don't turn off don't switch off for the second. I want you to stay hanging while I end the broadcast. And once again, thank you all. Thank you, Isaac, for joining.
Thank you, everyone.
And and we'll see each other soon. Send me a smiley so that we're doing well here. Take care, and let's all rise in unity through whatever you're doing. Build your community. Even in time of pandemic, it is absolutely possible and it's needed. Thank you so much. Cheers.
And one boy, if you need my phone number or things like that, Camilla can send it.
Camilla can hook it up.
Okay,
yes,
perfect.
Camilla will hook it up, because we need you. We need you in Vuosaari.
Perfect. Thank you all for joining. Drop us an emoji and just give us a feedback, because it's all about feedback these days. To stay human, connected, and engaged. Cheers. Thanks.
Yes. Thank you, guys.